Good morning, everyone. Welcome to morning meeting. And today we're joined with Perry, our peregrine falcon ambassador. As always, let me know where you guys are tuning in from today. If you guys have any questions, I'd certainly love to answer them. You can just drop them in the comments. And we certainly love to say hello to everyone. So Perry is a peregrine falcon. So they're built a little bit different than our hawks and our owls and those guys in our raptor family. So falcons have these really long toes. Yeah. And you see those long pointed wings that Perry has. As well as a little notch in his beak. So falcons in general, so our peregrine falcons, our merlins, our American kestrels, they really prefer to hunt birds. They're specialized hunters for birds, and so they're very fast, and they're built a bit different than our other raptors. Oh, nice poop. Yeah, you do. Good morning, Anne from Topsfield. Good morning, Robin and Charlie from Freeport. Welcome. We have Perry, our peregrine falcon, with us this morning. So if you guys aren't opposed, I'm going to give him his breakfast this morning. So he is getting a quail. So because, like I just mentioned, they do really like to hunt birds, and so we do specialize their diets just for them to make sure that they're nice and healthy. So Perry, as well as Maeve, our merlin, they do get a quail every other day to make sure that they're getting some of those nutrients that they would normally get from birds in their natural diet, and then they do get mice like everyone else on those other days. But I'm going to give Perry his breakfast because he's so ready. Yes, you are. So he is getting half of a quail today. Let's see if he wants to eat on the glove. So we're very lucky to be able to offer him these really large quail that we'd actually got donated to us. From a your breakfast is right there. See? You want it? I'll just hold it, and then you can munch if you would like. So a dog trainer or a breeder for dog trainers, she had raised all these quail, and then her buyer had backed out, so she was very graciously donated over 100 quail to us, which we are really truly grateful. We don't receive any state or federal funding for the work we do, so we are grant and donation funded, and so she was very gracious enough to donate all those quail, which we do have to order and buy. So we are very grateful for all of them, and so that's what Perry is munching on right now. One quail is a bit too large for his normal diet, for his daily amount. So he does get half a quail when he does get those large quails. Good morning, Brian. Welcome. So flappy today. Okay, if you don't want to eat, we won't eat. That's okay. You're okay. Yeah, so Perry is one of our more nervous ambassadors. He does flap a lot and bait sometimes, so he jumps off the glove. Yeah. Sometimes it is just more of him being excited, so it's not necessarily he's nervous. Oh, yeah. So that little that he just did just means that he is just a little flappy because he's excited this morning. Yeah. You're content. Good morning, Lewis. Good morning. I know. Look at those wings. I'm going to try to angle you guys a little bit better so you can get a better look on him. You're fine. Perry. What? You're okay. There we go. What? You're molting. So we're gonna, I don't know if you guys can see, but he has a little feather on top of his head. right in between his eyes right now. He is currently losing all of his little feathers that are right there. Oh, thank you so much, Will, for donating. That's really sweet of you. We couldn't do our work without donations just like yours, so thank you so, so much. Oh, good boy. Nice rouse. So a little shake that he just did, we called it a rouse, and it means that he is comfortable, he's relaxed. Yeah, you're okay. Thank you so much, Will. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you so much. Alright, Perry, it helps buy your food. So we have to buy your quails. Yeah, we do. So Perry came to us from Vins in Vermont. They're similar to us. They're a wildlife hospital as well as an education facility. So Perry unfortunately flew into an electrical transformer. So he is a bit unique within our ambassadors and why we have them. So he has some soft tissue damage and neurological damage, and that's why he is with us. So he's been with us since 2012. So he is at least about 9 years old now. We're hoping to have him for quite some time still. Freya, our late peregrine, did pass away at 15. And the oldest in captivity is 20, I believe. So we have high hopes. Yeah. Good boy, Perry. What? I know. So these guys are cool just because our falcons are built so much different than our hawks and our owls and our other raptors. So he's actually the fastest animal on the planet. I know. Yeah. So our airplanes and our bullets are actually built off of their aerodynamic body shape. So you can see those long pointed wings that he has. Sorry, I'm just trying to show you off. But you're fine. Those really long pointed wings, and then those really long toes that he has, and then he has a little notch in his beak. So those are a couple things that all of our falcons have, because they are specialized bird hunters. They're meant to fly fast and be able to hunt on the wing, which means that they're hunting as they're flying. Of course, they're moving fast, their prey's moving fast. Why are you all worked up? I'm sorry, I'll stop talking my hands. I know, you don't like it. Yeah. And so these guys in the wild will sit on a nice high rocky ledge, especially up in Acadia National Park. You'll hear hikers getting dive bombed by parents just protecting their nest up on the ledge. Yeah. In the cities, however, they've become really well adapted to live near us. And so there's a lot of pigeons in cities, and so it's kind of like a big McDonald's for them. So they will sit on that high rocky spot or on top of that skyscraper, wait for a pigeon or another bird to fly under them, and then they're going to tuck their wings in and dive head first and put their talons into a fist and literally punch their prey out of their sky. Good boy. Nice rouse. So during that dive, they can reach over 300 miles an hour. So that number does keep increasing as our technology gets better and we have better ways to track them. It used to be they can dive 200, and then it was like, oh, maybe like 230, and maybe like 260, and now it's over 300. So we are, as our technology is getting better, we are getting better at tracking their amazing dives. Incredible. Could imagine going 3 times faster than we would normally drive on the highway, 4 times faster almost. And just being able to get your food and swoop away as you're going, as you're flying, which is incredible. So that is called their stoop dive, or making them the fastest animal on the planet. But our other falcons are also fast, but they're just hunting in a different manner. So like our Marylands, for example, they'll swoop through the branches and the trees, so they can fly horizontally pretty fast, where he can dive so fast. Yeah, you can. Well, you can't, but in the wild they can. Good morning, Victoria from Northampton. Welcome. We have Perry, our peregrine falcon ambassador, with us this morning. Yeah. Yeah. So just like our eagles, if any of you are familiar with Rachel Carson and DDT use back in the 60s and 70s when they were banned, just like our eagles, these guys were also on the endangered species list. So just like the eagles, their nests were getting threatened because the chemical that we were spraying on our plants because we didn't want bugs to eat them. All those little birds eat the bugs, and then these guys eat the birds. So we call that bioaccumulation. So it means that the chemical goes through the food chain and it impacts the higher levels of the food chain the same way it does the lower levels, but it's far more concentrated in those higher levels. And so what happened was the chemical essentially made it so that when the mom laid her egg, the calcium wasn't deposited into the egg. So instead of being a nice solid egg, it was very soft. And so when mom would sit on her eggs, they would crack. And that's why these guys had gone on the endangered species list. They were not doing well. They have made a recovery. They are off the federal endangered species list, but there are several states still where these guys are considered endangered or threatened still. Yeah. And we're lucky enough here in Maine that they have made a pretty good recovery. For those of you that are local to us here in Maine, there's a bridge on I-95 between Kittery, Maine and Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And they're currently doing a lot of construction over there. It's a couple years of projects that they're doing right now. And there's actually a peregrine nest that has been there for about 15 years now. So they will, like most raptors, mate for life. Once they do find a mate, they'll raise their babies together and then separate during the wintertime, then come back together in the spring in that same location. And so there had been a pair there, the same pair there for 13 years. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, the female did pass away, but the male did return and then very quickly found a new mate to lay eggs in that nest again. So they are considering to use that nest, and with all the construction that they're doing on the bridge, they actually moved the nest so that it wouldn't be impacted by all the construction, and the peregrines are still using it, which is really, really cool. Yeah. So it's a local place that you might be able to catch them, is where that river mouth is in Portsmouth, which is pretty cool. Yeah. You're okay. Yeah, okay. So always turn around, you guys can see. So you can see he has this really whitish belly. And then unlike a lot of our hawk species, has this slatey grayish blue back to him. So penguins have it, sharks have it. It's called counter shading. So essentially means that when an animal looks up, you're so flappy. When a predator looks up, or an animal looks up, the belly is going to blend in with the sky. And then if something were to look down on them, they would blend in with their habitat below them. So like our red-tailed hawks, our broadwing hawks, for example, they're going to be near the woods, and so they have a brown back to them because that's going to blend in with the woods really well. Perry has this slitty gray color because they generally like to live near water. So it doesn't really matter what kind of water, oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds. They're not generally that picky. They will live near all types of bodies of water, but that's really their preferred habitat, which is why they have that pretty slate gray color to them, unlike our other raptors. Yeah, he is a little feisty this morning. Because of the neurological damage, he is sometimes a little more nervous and alert to things that are going on and new things. So yeah, you're fine. You want to try to eat again? What do you think? Want to eat? You want to eat? You can eat. You can eat it. There you go. You want me to hand it to you? Good morning, Priscilla. He is very, very handsome. I would agree. You okay? Here, you want that? No? Okay. Want to go for a walk? What do you think of that? I tried to give it to you. You don't want it. There you go. Okay, we'll go for a walk. That's okay. So we're just going to take a little walk for a little bit. Alright. You want to sit in the sun? What would that make you hit? Very. Want to sit in the sun? Step up. Step up. Good boy. Why are you so out feisty today? Huh? Where do you want to go? Want to go sit in the sun? How about this? Yeah. But you're okay. So we're sitting here. We'll try to show you right now so he is still molting. So right now he's replacing some of his wing feathers. Hey, that's my phone. Don't bite that. Particularly on his left wing. Good boy. So you might be able to see some of those tubes. So they are still growing, and we know that because it's still dark, and so there's still blood flow to them. Hey! So he has two right there, and then you can see the top. Hey! The top of one right there on the inside of his wing. Yeah. You can see from that droop, though, that is his injured wing. So that's why he has that little bald spot. What? Here, you want to go hang out in your enclosure? Would that make you happier? You can do that. What about over here? Let's see. Little feather on his head. Yes, because you are molting, my friend. Very badly. Is that better? There you go. What? I just can't make you happy today. He is very gorgeous, Victoria. I would definitely agree. He's very, very handsome. Marine, no, he does not like to be touched or pet. So we do wear the thick leather gloves with our raptors, because remember those talons are very, very strong. And that beak is also very sharp. So we don't really pet our ambassadors or really touch them unless we have to. Most of them don't enjoy being touched because they associate it with medical exams. So he will let me touch his keel, so down his chest bone, to look for like a body condition. But that's generally all. We do try to touch them, and then we'll touch occasionally their feet and pick them up to see if they're healthy, to make sure he's not getting any sores around them or at all. And then sometimes some ambassadors will let us help them preen. So at the end of those the end of the new feathers coming in, when they're done growing, so the end of the tube will turn white. So it's literally just a waxy tube that we will use our fingers and rub them off so that the new feather emerges. Sometimes, depending on their injury, they do need a little help with that, and so we will help them if they allow us. Yeah. Leo in particular usually needs a little bit of help because of his injury, and his wings are so much longer than his body. And so we do generally help them if we can, or when, especially our owls, sometimes they'll need a little head scratch sometimes to help preen those new feathers. But it's always on their terms. So we're not like petting them like a dog or anything like that. It's for a purpose. It's for their care and for their health. Making sure that they're not getting fat or too skinny or anything, and making sure that those feet are nice and healthy as well. You have a feather. Like, as much as I want to get that feather off of his head right now, he will definitely not let me. Yeah. So you can see down the side of his face. So we call that a malar stripe. So that's kind of like when athletes put eye black under their eyes. So it is to deflect the light when they're hunting. And as they get older, those cheeks will completely fill in. So he has a little bit of a little patch left. His patches have even gotten larger since I've known him. So those little tan patches will eventually turn into that slate gray, just like the rest of his head. And that's one way you can take a guess on if it's an older or younger bird. Those stripes will get, those cheeks will get more filled in as they get older. For those of you that were privileged enough to have met Freya before, our late peregrine, she had completely filled in cheeks. The two of them, like I mentioned though, most raptors do mate for life. They, however, did not. Yeah. Because Perry came to us as an adult after he flew into the electrical transformer. Unfortunately, Freya was injured as a youngster. So Freya was physically injured, but she was also imprinted on humans, and so she wasn't really sure what she was. So she did not get along with Perry, as do most imprints, or most animals that are imprinted on humans instead of imprinted on what they are supposed to be. So imprinting means that they learn. It's kind of like when you see the cartoon with the ducklings following the dog, or the ducklings following the human. So the animal learns that they're not the animal that they actually are. So Freya, as a female raptor, most species, the girls are about a third bigger than the boys. And so she beat him up and stole his food and was not very nice to him. So they did have to live in separate enclosures, which made both of their lives much happier. But in general, we do try to put males and females together, just because they would naturally mate for life. So when we can, we do try at least. He is very beautiful, Susan. I would very much agree. He's very, very handsome. Yeah, you are. What do you hear? Yeah, I hear that too. It's a little birdie. I don't know what it is though, so sorry. Yeah. And let me show your face. Yeah, look at those eyes. Yeah. So they are a chocolate brown color. And he has fantastic vision. Of course, he's moving fast, his prey's moving fast. So his vision is kind of like us seeing in slow-mo, I guess you could say. So if a little bird were to fly by your bedroom window, it's kind of a blur to you. It's really hard to see. He could actually kind of see every little wing beat that little bird is making, which is important because he's moving fast, his prey's moving fast, and so he does have to have that vision to correct for that, because he's the fastest animal on the planet. Yeah, you are. They are pretty smart, Susan. So they're not as smart as our corvids, so like our crows, our ravens, or our vultures. But relative to like hawks and owls, they are pretty smart. Very sassy and feisty individuals that we have here as ambassadors. Good boy, nice rouse. So they have quite the personality, for sure. Taylor, why does he open his mouth? So Perry, as I mentioned, does have some neurological damage, and so he goes from calm, cool, collected to oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, very quickly and very often. There you go. So he will sometimes open his mouth if he's a little nervous, if there's something going on. Unlike a lot of birds, he does use his he will flap his wings, but for him it's more of an excitement. It's not as much with our other birds. We'd be considering it more of a nervous thing, which sometimes he does get nervous. But he does actually flap when he gets excited sometimes as well. But he goes back and forth between calm, cool, collected to, oh my god, what's going on? And then back and forth constantly. Yeah. You're fine. Susan, how old is he? So he came to us in 2012. He was a young adult. So we believe he's about 9 years old now. So we are hoping he will live into his late teens. Freya, unfortunately, was 15 when she passed. So he's about 9. Yeah. But they can live into late teens, early 20s in captivity. The oldest, I believe, is 20 or 21 in captivity. You have a feather on your head. You do. Nice poop. Yeah. So we're gonna head back to his enclosure, and I will show you guys where he lives quickly. Yeah. I know we're going. I gotta get your food first. I gotta get your food. Ready for breakfast? Yeah. Oh, I know. Ooh, I'm just gonna put you guys down quick so I can open his doors. I know, loud noise. So loud. There we go. Good boy. Step up. Want your food? Here you go. Here's your breakfast. There you go. And this is Perry's enclosure. As you can see, he has this little branch that goes across the window. So we do give him some rocks because I would prefer that high rocky ledge. And then he has some ramps to go through his enclosure. Sometimes if you're walk by and you can't see him, he might be hanging out up there hiding. But this is his enclosure. Like I mentioned, he does have some soft tissue damage, so that's why he is in one of our smaller ones. He does not get around very well. So he uses the ramps to get up and then can jump down. But we do give him the option that if he wants to climb down, he can. Yeah, bud. So if you guys have any last questions, I can certainly answer them, but otherwise we're gonna sign off for the day and go get everyone else their breakfast. Hey, bud? As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and continuing to hang out with us every single day. We're certainly still enjoying it, and we are glad that you guys are too. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this morning, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Hey, have a great day, Perry. Bye, everyone.